or developing speaking skills. No, speaking skills. But before we will dig deeper to this main objective, let's first define what is speaking. So again, speaking is an interactive process that constructing meaning that involve producing, receiving, and processing. So that's the definition of speaking. So there are 3 strategies for developing speaking skills. Number 1 is we have using minimum responses. So when we talk about using minimal responses, the learners who have low confidence in their ability to participate successfully inside the class or in oral interaction often listen in silence while others do the talking. So in minimal responses viewers or class, they can use the 2 different types of exchange. So what are those? So first we have the predictable, and the second one is the idiomatic. Idiomatic phrase. So these 2 are the types of exchange. Okay. And using minimal responses class may help the students to indicate. It helps the student to indicate understanding, agreement, doubt, and other responses. Okay? So just like for example, expressing an opinion. Example. Expressing an opinion. We have, that's nice. How lucky. And that's too bad. So these are that are the example of using minimal responses. So now let's go to the second one, the strategies for developing speaking skills. The second one is what we call the recognizing script. Okay, so when we talk about recognizing scripts class or viewers out there, the instructor can help the students to develop speaking ability by making them aware of the script. So, aware of the scripts, such as greetings, apologies, compliments, and invitations, and other different situations. So in recognizing script viewers, there are two kinds of script. We have the, okay, wait a minute. We have the transactional exchange and the interaction exchange. When we talk about transactional exchange, the information, it involves activities such as obtaining information and make purchase. So it involves an activity that obtaining information and making purchase. So, transactional exchange, it involves activity that obtaining information and making purchase. While interaction exchange class is, it practices student managing the language continues. For example, we have, I'd like to buy 2 more. Okay. So these are the example, or that are the example of transactional exchange. While the interaction exchange, hello, where I haven't seen you in a long time. So again, in recognizing scripts, it aware of the script such as greetings, apologies, compliments, and invitation and other different situations. And then in recognizing scripts, there are 2 types of scripts. Number 1 is a scripted transactional exchange, which involves activity that obtain information and making purchase. And then the scripted interaction exchange, it practice the students managing the language contains. For example, I'd like to buy 2 more tickets, please. So that's under transactional exchange. And then, hello, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. So that's under interaction exchange. In interaction exchange, there are a responses. For example, hello, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. So the responses is this one. Yeah, I had the flu. So I was out for a while. So that's under interaction exchange. So practice the students managing the language contains, and of course there is a what you call that one? There is the word is interaction. So both are interacting, exchanging information. So hello, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah, I had the flu, so I was out for a while. And then the last strategies for developing speaking skills is this one, using language to talk about language. So that is the third one. So, by encouraging the students to clarify or for clarification phrases in class when misunderstanding occurs, and by responding positively when they do, the instructors or the teacher can create an authentic practice environment within the classroom itself. Like, for example, if the student asks the speaker, or if the student will ask the speaker an unsure meaning of what she or he talked about, so the student will ask like, excuse me, did you say that the sun rises? Excuse me, did you say that the sun rises in the west? So that's example. Another example of using language to talk about language is when you don't know the word for something, and then you describe it and ask it for instance. Like for example, what do you call the flower that falls out of the trees? So the speaker will clarify the meaning or the description on what he or she talks about, or on what she or he talks about. Okay. So again, there are 3 strategies for developing speaking skills. Number 1 is using minimal responses, recognizing scripts, and using language to talk about language. So always remember, when we talk about using minimal responses, it talks about predictable or idiomatic phrases. Like types of exchange. So using minimal responses talks about the key word there is lack of confidence. Okay, lack of confidence, or predictable or idiomatic. So that's the types of exchange under using minimal responses. And it also helps the students to understand, agreement, or doubt and other responses. And then the second one, recognizing scripts, is aware of the scripts such as greetings, apologies, compliments, invitation, and other different situations. And there are 2 types of script: the transactional exchange and interactional exchange script. Now, when we talk about instructional and transactional exchange, involves an activity that obtain information and making purchase. Interaction, practice the students managing the language contains, or both person or both students having interact with each other, like sharing or sharing their, what we call this one, it's changing information. Now, under interaction exchange. So the last one is using language to talk about language. Like you are clarifying something that you don't understand directly. Okay? So Overall, speaking is considered as the most important skill of the learners. Most of the time, the proficiency of these skills is which judge the knowledge of the learner of the second language. And by these strategies for developing speaking skills, it makes the students more active in the learning process, and at the same time, it makes the learner or the learning more meaningful and more fun for your students. So that's it, and it's end of my discussion for today's video about strategies for developing speaking skills. Bye!